Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst. Before we get started here, I suggest you click below into the settings, speed it up to 1.5 or 1.25. I think that makes these videos a lot better. So let's get into a few topics here of draft relevance. Here we are with college football kind of in this weird, strange season. The Big Ten's about to get started. Pac-12 isn't too far away. We've had some big games in the SEC already, and definitely an ACC is off and running, has been for a while, same with the Big 12. So let's kind of assess some of the draft things that have come to light. First of all, if you want to go to walterfootball.com, I have an article up about how Marvin Wilson, the defensive tackle from Florida State, has really disappointed team evaluators. I spoke with a handful of teams that saw him more as a mid-rounder, were grading him no higher than the third round. I spoke with another team that thought he could still go in the early rounds, but his play has been really disappointing this season. Team evaluators, the lack of pass rush. He has one sack thus far. That came against Jacksonville State. He was a complete non-factor against Notre Dame, just a ghost on the field, did next to nothing against Miami as well, and those were some, really important high-profile games for him in terms of the competition that Florida State has on their schedule this season, and he has 6 more games to go, 5 games in, really is not impressed as a senior, and you don't know if Florida State's going to make it to bowl games or what these bowl games are even going to look like during this postseason. Who knows, what's going to happen there. So really it's crunch time for him if he wants to rise into being an early rounder, because there's a consensus building of him being a nose tackle only, a guy that lacks pass rush ability for the NFL. And for a run-stuffing nose tackle only, unless this guy is an elite defender there in that regard, those guys typically go lower, more in the mid-rounds, because they're viewed as maybe 1 or 2 down players and then they're off the field. They aren't going to contribute much in the sub-package, which teams are playing 60 to 70% these days. So Marvin Wilson, entered the season with a lot of first-round projections. There's a lot of media that was hyping him and super high on him, but teams really aren't. They also say he's a locker room lawyer, which is a bad reputation and thing for some teams to kind of label, to put on a player. They don't want to deal with that in their own locker rooms. So it's really important crunch time now for Marvin Wilson here in these final 5 games for Florida State. So now, I also wanted to hit on some positions of strength that are emerging from watching these games since the beginning of September. I see some positions that I think we're going to have some strong years to address for teams in the NFL. And if you refer to a video I did a little while ago on drafting and draft theory and drafting from positions of strength, it ends up really rewarding NFL teams. They have better talent on their roster, and they're getting better values on day 2 and in the mid-rounds. So the positions of strength that I see coming out right now: safety, it looks like could be a really good safety class. You have Andre Cisco at Syracuse. We'll see what his injury status is there. Syracuse is being evasive. Paris Ford at Pitt is an excellent player. Javon Holland, Oregon, another talented safety. I don't think he's playing this year. TCU has a couple of good safeties. Georgia, Richard LeCounte, really nice player. So this could be a really good draft for safeties. Every year, wide receiver seems to be loaded. This year is going to be no different. Going to be a strong year for players back half of the first round into day 2 as well. Really good depth at wide receiver. I think running back could be pretty strong. I think offensive tackle could be pretty strong. Those two don't quite look as good to me right now as safety and wide receiver, but I think the potential is there, and we'll see how some of these Big Ten and Pac-12 players play in their games, but there's a possibility that those 2 positions could be good. Lastly, I wanted to hit on position of weakness. I've been really disappointed in terms of the defensive line talent. thus far, which is surprising because typically we have more defensive line talent for a draft class than what I'm seeing so far here for 2021. Hopefully I'm wrong and we get some guys emerging and breaking out. I know with this being this strange year, you have Gregory Rousseau, a guy who entered the year as kind of the top consensus guy, sitting out the season. So, that having that kind of lack of star power to watch each Saturday maybe has an influence, but really I'm not seeing a lot of edge rushers. I'm not seeing a lot of first-round interior defensive linemen. Hopefully guys break out here in the back half of the season for the ACC, Big 12, and SEC, and then hopefully we get some more breakout players from the Pac-12 and Big 10. But right now the defensive line isn't looking that great, and that's not really, that's kind of a scary proposition for a lot of NFL teams because every year that's a huge need. You can never have enough talented defensive linemen in the NFL. You need a rotation, you need depth, injuries happen. So this could be a draft that is ending up to be more talented on the offensive side of the ball. So anyways, that's this week's draft video. Please click the links below. We got our mocks, we got our position rankings. Check out Walt's weekly picks. He's doing a great job. Check out the videos he does with Jacob, the clipped ones if you want to zero in on a game as well. We got tons of great content there. Please like the video, share it, subscribe to our channel, and you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Draft Campbell and Walt is Walter Football. So I'll be back with you guys soon. Thanks for watching.